All right. We are live now. So this is Indie Talk with Jesse and Jaron featuring the daughter of 1,000 maniacs, Shawna Reed. So how's it going, Shawna?
It's good. How are you guys?
Pretty good.
Really
Yeah.
good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, you just we were looking through your accounts and stuff. We were seeing that you're actually trained by Dustin Rhodes and a couple other stars at the Rhodes Wrestling Academy. How is it being trained by him and those stars over there?
Well, so I'm originally trained by Cody Hawk here in Cincinnati. He trained John Moxley, Eli Drake, Sammy Callahan, people like that. So for my first few years, I was trained by him. And then we had a luchador come in named Super Zeta, and he started training me as well. And then last year, I went and got trained by Dustin in his first class, which was absolutely mind blowing and amazing. I was very much at a standstill here in my wrestling career, and I wanted to restart and kind of like get more aggressive and kind of just start from scratch. So I went to Texas with Dustin, and I was terrified. Like it was like I remember first locking up with him, like I was shaking. It was so bad. Um, but like because I was one of the only people he picked that wasn't brand new. He and he knew I knew how to do things, so he used me as his example for everything. And when I mean everything, I mean everything. So I took every bump like 50 times to show people how to do it. And I can't tell you how many arm drags I took from that man that I almost flew out of the ring each time because of how like strong he is. And I don't think you realize, I think he forgets how tall and how big he is. And I'm like a 130-pound girl. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
dude. But no, it was amazing and it was fun and it was such a learning experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely sounds like a learning experience when he's got Dustin dragging you around the ring and he's just I don't care. You're a student. I'm teaching you this way. So yeah.
Exactly.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And then, yeah, you said originally trained by Cody Hawk. What kind of person is he?
Well, first of all, he's my husband. Second of all,
Oh,
Oh, nice.
well,
yeah,
so do you want to know really what kind of person he is or in the
uh,
business?
from the wrestling standpoint, I guess, since you know anything
So,
else.
uh, it didn't start out that way, like it was, I
Yeah.
like started training with him back in 2015. Um, and because I was a huge Dean Ambrose fan, like I was like, oh my God, like, because I'm in Cincinnati, that's where John's from. And so I looked up who trained him, and it was Cody. And I immediately asked him if he trained girls, and he said
Mhm.
yes. And I started that next week. I did end up getting hurt 3 weeks in, and but I still went and took notes every single day until I was good enough to get healed enough to get back into the ring and do it myself. So his training's no joke, like he treats you like you're a guy if you're a girl, and I'm
Mhm.
so thankful for that. He teaches you to call things on the fly, so I can call in the ring very well, which is I'm super thankful for. And then he brought in Super Zeta, who's a luchador from Mexico who was super famous. He became one of my best friends and passed away about 3 years ago now from cancer. So,
Mm.
yeah, that was really hard. But Cody's class, taught me American and then lucha, which was really cool because I'm a 5'10" tall girl. And,
Mhm.
you know, um, normally in the wrestling business, I would be a base, like, just a base for all these smaller girls to do these crazy lucha moves on me. But I
Mhm.
actually got to learn both sides, how to
Oh.
take, how to give. So it was really cool to learn technical, old school, and lucha. Like, so it was really, yeah, it's awesome.
Hmm. So you got a vast variety of a bunch of styles, and you're able to incorporate that into every match and just in general. So
Exactly.
okay, yeah. And then, yeah, it's glad that Cody Hawk was able to train the way he did because I mean, I don't know trainers too much, but I mean, I think it is important that treated the same way and just go out there and perform or train a wrestler the best that you can so that they can perform the best that they can and overall become stars. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Oh, you go, Jesse.
All right. So you're from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Yeah.
I have a little fun fact for you. I actually have some family that lives in Cincinnati, Ohio, and sometimes we travel out there just to visit and whatnot. So, what's your favorite place to eat in Ohio?
I bet I know which one you're thinking that I'm gonna say. It's not Skyline, even though I love Skyline. Like Skyline is great. I actually like took Skyline down to Texas and like cooked it for my roommates like the last few weeks we were there. So one of my favorite places to eat here, it's actually up in Toledo, Ohio. And so whenever I go wrestle in Toledo, I get really excited because I get to get it. I get to eat it. But it's called Boston Market. And
Sure. Yep.
yes, and I love it. And it's only like a few places in Ohio. But like I said, when I get to go to Toledo, which was a monthly show, but who knows now, I get to have it every time, no matter what. So
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not familiar with Ohio at all, but yeah, cool to see how you guys
nothing
through
here.
that.
Don't worry about it. You're not missing anything.
Oh man. Actually, now that you bring Ohio, what was that, Jesse?
I said that she is right. I mean, you're not really missing anything, but you have to admit though, when you're going over the bridge to the Kentucky border, the lights are something else to look at. They are phenomenal.
We have a beautiful skyline and beautiful bridges, but that's all we have. It's like a false pretense. Like, welcome to this wonderful, beautiful city, but then you get inside it and it's like, oh, like, turn around.
Oh man. Yeah, it sounds like like I'm not missing much, but I mean, there's Ohio, there's a lot of good guys from there, so yeah. Actually, now that you bring up Ohio, do you remember that one segment that Dean Ambrose did with Terry Funk in WWE a few years ago?
I think, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Have you ever been there and just saw or seen that place? Oh yeah, okay. I was just curious.
I stay away from downtown as much as I can.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done a few WWEs like at US Bank Arena, which is downtown, and honestly, that is like my gist of downtown. Like if for AEW there, if I'm booked for WWE when they come into town, then I'll go. But I avoid downtown because it isn't the nicest of places. So I stick to my little neck of the woods.
That's true. That is very true.
Especially when you got Terry Funk just chainsawing tables downtown. So, yeah, you might want to be careful of that. So,
yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. I guess you answered 3 of my questions. Yeah. Well, let's go back a little bit. But how did you originally get into the wrestling business? Or no, how did you originally want to start being a wrestler, and where did that your career? I am messing up right now. Where did you start? What was your favorite moment of wrestling when you grew up, and how did that inspire you to become a wrestler?
Well, what inspired me to become a wrestler was me and my brother. We used to, I have a younger brother, and we used to fight over who would play the PS2. So my mom would literally like designate times as to when I would get to play, when he would get to play. And but if we wanted to still play while the other's time was, we'd have to play what they'd want. So my brother, would always want to play WWE. I think it was 2007, maybe. And so I would be like, you know what? I still want to play. And so I need to, be there. And he would quiz me on the names of the people that would pop up in between the matches. And so I kind of started getting into it when I realized this was like a real thing. I was like, oh crap, like these people are real, And so I started watching it. My mom and them were very against, me wrestling and doing things because I'm a girl, and I get it. Mama's girl, like, oh, I want my daughter to be like, shopping and girly girl kind of thing, dresses, and she got the total opposite of me of that. She got like freaking wrestler, the girl who would rather go out and, four-wheel and get dirty than go, wherever. So she got that. And actually it's very controversial, but the person that kind of got me into wrestling the most was Chris Benoit. So I mean, Chris Benoit before Chris Benoit went freaking lunatic and murdered his family. But like the man, he's the first one I memorized on the game that my brother was quizzing me on. And he's the first one when I was watching that caught my attention. But then, with people like Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Kane, female-wise, Mickie James, Victoria. And then I went through that phase where everybody, stops watching it for maybe a few years or whatever. And then I picked it back up and I like became obsessed with AJ Lee and became obsessed with Dean Ambrose. And then the rest was history. It was like, look up who trained Dean, go. As soon as I moved out of my parents' house, because I wasn't allowed to do it, I was on my parents' under their roof. But
yeah, okay, yeah. I think 2007 was a great period. I started collecting DVDs and actually watching wrestling in 2010, and then from there just kept buying old stuff. And then 2007, I do remember some good pay-per-views from that time. I'm like, oh, that's a good match right there. And I always bought DVDs from the thrift store, and that was just cool to see wrestling that way. And then I think I would say I maybe had a time period where I didn't watch wrestling, maybe a few years ago, but I don't exactly remember when. But yeah, it's cool that you got your start that way, and I mean it's definitely good picks of wrestlers that inspired you. So
yeah.
All right, I'll let you go, Jesse.
All right. So have you ever gotten to wrestle AJ Lee or any of them?
I've gotten
outside?
Victoria.
Oh.
But I have not. So, like I said, AJ Lee was like my inspiration of getting into the business, like really actually making that final step. And it kills me that I never got to see her wrestle live, and I never got to meet her in person. I had a WoW tryout scheduled for last month, and I was like, oh my God, I'm finally going to meet the woman who, gave me the final push and like the one that actually kept me a fan of wrestling. Like, I'm finally going to meet her. And then they canceled it due to COVID, and it like broke my heart. And I'm just like hoping that they end up rescheduling the tryouts, and then maybe one day it'll happen again. The odds have not been in my favor in that situation yet. But yes, I've wrestled Victoria in Springfield, Illinois, and it was really cool because it was a tag match, and my best friend was also in the match. So it was like my best friend and then like one of my childhood heroes. And it was really cool because afterwards, we drank a little backstage and just talked and then made inside jokes and then, got a little, tipsy and like had a great freaking time. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is happening right now. Like this is happening. And it was, and she gave me her phone number. We keep in touch and it's like freaking awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome. Just to have your friend and your childhood hero in a triple threat match like that. It's definitely definitely got to be like a bucket list item for wrestlers. So yeah. And I think I recently saw a trip. I mean, I don't know how familiar you are with the Midwest area, but it's a wrestler named Evil Sierra. She's actually facing two AEW stars, Chris Statlander and Chelsea Green, in a triple threat in New York, and just to
Is
see like
Chelsea you? She's in.
Impact, yeah. I
Yeah.
guess yeah, that's right, Impact
No, I
Wrestling.
wrestled Sierra probably 3 times. So
Okay. Yeah. And it's just cool to see how triple threat matches work like that, and you're able to get the younger, well, not I guess the independent star in there, and just mix it up with the big time wrestlers, and just getting an experience of that. So
yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
yeah. And then I've been seeing a lot of Victoria's been doing a lot of autograph signings. I'm like, oh, that's cool. She's still getting out and doing stuff and interacting with the fans. So yeah,
Yeah, she's awesome.
and yeah, and with having the cancellation of AJ Lee, a few months ago they canceled the Jeff Hardy meet and greet. I'm like, come on, man, Jesus. It was like flight issues or something to Dilworth, Minnesota. I'm like, well, first, they did do refunds, but originally it was like, that's an expensive ticket. And Jeff Hardy had 3 cards to sign. I'm like, oh well.
Aw.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess the suffering of a wrestling fan, but hopefully it'll happen again. So,
100%.
yeah. All right. Oh, there you go, Jesse.
All right. So has anybody from Minnesota contacted you to come in for a show?
One, I just want to point out, I knew you guys had to be from because you talked like from Minnesota, and I'm like, you're totally from somewhere up there.
She nailed it, Jaren. She got it down.
Minnesota, one of the two.
Yeah.
I did my first few WWEs in Minnesota and in Green Bay. So I've done Green Bay, Milwaukee, and Minneapolis a few times. So those were the only ones. I did have at least 2 in Minnesota the year COVID hit, and then everything got canceled. And I cannot remember for the life of me what that promotion was. But I just know it was canceled because of COVID. So, but I am up usually some with Pete at APW in Wisconsin. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm glad that I wasn't sure if you would pick up on that, because apparently outsiders can see the Minnesota accent, and I mean, us ourselves, we really can't tell when we're actually saying it, but then we're like, oh, maybe we do have it. So
no, you got it.
Yeah. I mean, just a few, what was it, last month or something, we're talking to someone from Tennessee, and we told them that we're from Minnesota. I'm like, oh, not Minnesota. So.
Yeah. I remember that.
Their accent, and that's like probably crazy to you.
Yeah. And then, you were talking about APW and Pete King. We've been close on Facebook since, I forgot. I don't originally remember how we started talking, but we just kind of started talking, and he's been messaging me back and forth, and just kind of became buds and kept up with the APW. And he did have a show a couple months ago in Chippewa Falls, so it was cool to see that he's successful, and he brought Eric Redbeard growing there, so that was really cool to see that he's able to bring in good names like that. So
yeah. I was on the show before then, so with Carlito, and then I was supposed to be scheduled with him like a month ago, and then it got canceled. So.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I did remember seeing something with the Carlito, and we were talking about how it was working with Carlito, or Pete with Carlito. So
yeah.
And we actually have someone that wanted to come on and talk about APW, as he knows. I think he knows APW really well, so we wanted to.
Or he thinks he does anyway.
I think he does. and it is Mr. Pete King himself. What's going on, Pete?
Hey, Pete.
Evening.
Hello.
How's it going? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going pretty good. I know Pete wanted to come on and say hi because like you said, you were on the show a few months ago, and just wanted to say hi and come on and just talk about his experience with working with you. So,
Oh God.
they're good or bad feelings?
Yeah, Pete, tell us.
No, I mean,
Your check will be in the mail, Pete.
I'll be looking for it.
Be looking for it. Oh man.
No, I mean, we were just, ecstatic to have Shawna come in and Ari and Leslie. That was an awesome triple threat match that they put on, and it was probably one of the best matches of the night. So it worked out pretty nice. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
Unfortunately, obviously, Shawna didn't win the title, but
I got cheated out of it. Ari threw me into a pole.
yeah.
Got like knocked out. Like, I'm sorry, I
Oh.
couldn't right back up after being knocked unconscious.
But you did make Jerry Adams' night by having him carry you out.
Oh man.
That was probably the highlight of his night.
Oh man.
So, but
Yeah.
it was an awesome night, having you there, and and you and Ari coming up from OVW and Ohio and all that. And it was awesome for you guys to make the trip up. Ari actually drove up here, and you took the flight.
Yeah, I was the smart one.
Oh, you didn't want to do the drive from Ohio to Wisconsin.
I've done that for WWE, and I was like, I ain't doing that again. I did that at the beginning of my career, but now I'm like 5 hours plus. I'm flying everywhere.
And we just had a somebody that wrestled Leslie at the last event. She drove from Michigan, and I think she might have wrestled you once or twice, maybe. Yeah, yep.
We were married on a promotion up here in Toledo, here for like a year, and it was so like just pointless because literally every month it was Shawna versus Shayla, like every single month, and we just kept on like pretty much trading the title back and forth. They wouldn't bring any other girls. So yeah, I know her very well.
Yeah. Those two they put on a decent match. This last event wasn't as a long drawn out match like we were hoping that they would do, but it worked out at the end. Leslie still has the title, so.
Oh man.
Well, we'll have to
having the title still.
What's that?
How does Shawna feel about Leslie having the title still?
Shawna feels that she was never beaten. Technically, Leslie beat Ari. She did not beat me.
Oh man.
I think we might have to bring Shawna in at our next event to go for that title.
Yeah, I mean, Leslie's super new, and I'm 7 years in, and she did not beat me. Put me in a singles match against her. Everything. I don't even think she hit me with anything, did she? I think she might have hit me with. She might have got me with a X Factor, but I think the only thing she hit me with. So she's gonna have to gain some experience. But I still pretty much think that 1-on-1, she wouldn't have that.
Ooh.
Oh, them fighting words, aren't they?
Come on, Pete, book the match. Book it.
Pete, book it.
Well, we'll have to get into some negotiations and and stuff like that. So yeah.
Got to get the paperwork rolling on that. So
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Yep, I think so.
Add to my wall.
Is that one of them behind you? Two of them? Is he on the wall?
Actually, 1, 2, 3. It's 5 of them.
Oh.
5 of my 8.
5 of your 8. Huh.
Well, if Leslie ever watches this back and that, wonder if she's gonna accept the challenge.
If she's not a chick.
Uh-oh.
Shawna needs that APW women's title on her wall.
Agreed. It would look so well on my wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a white belt, so it stand out.
Exactly. Like the other 2, I've got 3 black belts, 1 pink belt, and 1 blue belt. So it's like I need a white one.
Kind of make it the center of attention right there, right in the middle there.
Right in the middle. The APW Women's Championship.
Yeah, I think we'll have to book that once we get a date set. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm booking up for the rest of the year, so you best hurry.
I know you're a hot commodity next to Serena. Serena's yeah, she's all over the place.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, Brandon Herrera says I think a nice WWE Women's title belt would look great too.
I do that, or that AEW Women's belt. I've wrestled before. We could do it again.
No, you got your foot in the door in AEW, so why not, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Break down the forbidden door too.
Yeah.
Oh man. Mm-hmm.
Well, I just wanted to hop on here and wish you well there, Shawna, and sky's the limit for you. I hope things work out for you, and we'll get you back here.
Yeah, you better. Thank you.
All right, have a good one, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, you too, Pete.
Right.
Have a good night.
Yeah, that was one Mr. Pete King from All Out Pro Wrestling, guys. Great dude, and like you said, Shawna was on his show a few months ago. So, yeah. All right. Yeah, Joe Nielsen says book it. So I think we definitely need that. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're gonna keep pushing Pete until he says, "Okay, she can have her one-on-one."
Well, it was like I said, it was booked that one. Like I forget, like maybe a month or 2 ago, but then they lost the building or something, and
Right.
Or Leslie, probably like called the building owner up and was too much of a chicken and said, "Hey, I need you to, not let them have the show there," because she didn't want to face me. So that probably.
That might have been it. Yeah.
Surprised me.
Oh man, I guess time will only tell. So I should clip this and show her this. Yeah. All right. Oh, you go, Jesse.
I don't know. Brandon keeps talking about a match between me and you, but I noticed that he said something about Pete there. I think we should book a match between Brandon and Pete.
Oh yeah, Brandon, are you up for the challenge?
Yeah, come on, Brandon.
Go, Brandon. Sorry.
Oh no!
I saw the opportunity. I took it. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No,
it's fine.
I am game is what he says.
Okay, we'll book it. We'll book it this Friday night. Brandon versus Pete on the show.
On the show.
I tune in.
Yeah.
I don't even know who you are.
We'll have them in person with each other having the match, and then we'll run the StreamYard and we'll commentate or something.
Oh my God, please! I'm such a.
Mm-hmm. Oh man! Oh, Brandon
me
says
and Shawna versus Pete and whichever lady.
Lady.
Leslie.
Leslie.
That'd be pretty good. Huh. All right.
Oh, now we got everyone cheering for Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon. Oh man, Brandon actually runs a podcast too. I'm
Yep.
gonna forget the name of it now, but he runs a podcast. I was on there, I don't think in November or something. But yeah, Brandon's a good guy though. So yeah, all right.
Definitely likes to give us a hard time.
He does. Yeah, good old Brandon. All right. You wrestled at Future Great Wrestling. What is the atmosphere like over there?
It's really cool. It's actually it's at the place I train at. My husband's actually one of the bookers there. It's all the guys that my husband's trained, and or we've started bringing in some other people, but it's really really cool. It's like very old school, very there's a heel, there's a generic bad guy, generic good guy, good versus evil kind of thing. The crowd really gets into it, like super into it, so it's really cool. And then we just got TV in Dayton here in Ohio, and then we have a weekly YouTube show on Wednesdays at 7:30. The show that we had last Friday, it runs every Friday. So it's really it's such a family backstage, because we pretty much grew together. And it just, I've never really been in a locker room that had such a family atmosphere. And obviously there's drama everywhere, and there's things that happen, but no matter what happens backstage, it'll always bring us together. Even if people backstage don't like each other, or there's no drama. They don't bring it to the locker room. They don't bring it to work, which is really cool. But it's just very old school technical wrestling. I mean, we've got our cool little, high flyers and all that, but it's just good old fashioned wrestling. It's a wrestling show. It's not, you're going to go watch somebody like flip 7 times out of something. So if you're into that, it's like every Friday here in Hamilton live, but every Wednesday on YouTube.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Check that out.
Yeah. I just saw that. I'm like, oh, it sounds Future Great Wrestling. It sounds, it's a good name. I think that's a good name to have your company. And like you said, the positive backstage environment is what makes the show good. So
yeah, the guy who actually owns the company owns a comic book shop called Future Great Comics, Future Great Comics. So we call it the promotion Future Great Wrestling. So yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, it sounds pretty cool. Jesse and I are trying to learn different wrestling territories, and like Ohio, and then like we said, the Tennessee area. I'm like, the guy that's actually from Tennessee, he's been showing us some posters of the stuff over there, and we've been trying to keep up. I'm like, oh, that's pretty good. Yeah, got to make it over to Nashville, or where is it? Somewhere in Tennessee sometime, Jesse, or Ohio. So
not Ohio.
Yeah. Definitely. I think next time I'm in Ohio, I'm gonna see if I can take in an indie show.
Yeah, we have one every Friday, so come check it out.
Yeah.
It's actually, I'm not much of a traveler, but I mean, since hearing about like independent wrestling in general and that there's so many territories, I'm like, maybe I should just start traveling, but go to wrestling events. That'll be my way of traveling. So yeah. I guess we talked about it a little bit, but just talk about working with Leslie and then the APW Women's Championship battle that you guys had.
Well, it was me versus Ari versus Leslie to be the first ever women's champion. And, she listened very well, super green. But like I said, you can at least listen. You can work, I can work with you. There was something that ended up, there was a spot between me and her that got messed up. But I immediately, went to fix it, and she listened, and it didn't really, you couldn't really tell. When I looked at the video, obviously I knew where it was. But I'm like, as a fan, we recover very well. And if, like I said, if you can listen and not panic when something like that happens in the ring, then I can work with you. So it was, she's got a lot to learn. She's very young. She's like very young. I think she's only like 16. I don't even think she's an adult yet. Which like shocked me because I thought you had to be 18 to step in a wrestling ring. But I guess, and like, and I think it was like a week before her birthday, and that was her first title. So, good on her. She won her first title at 16, like right before her birthday. So, that's a really cool experience. But she did not, like I told Pete, she didn't beat me.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's real.
I'm very curious what a singles match between us would be. I think that it'll go really good. And I think that I will push her to limits she's not comfortable with. And I will do that so she learns. That's the best way to learn. That's how I was taught. I was pushed by Super Zeta, like, to do flips and things I was terrified to do, and he didn't give a crap. And so that's how I kind of like work on my stuff in my matches. I'm like, I will push my opponent out of their comfort zone. And that's what I plan on doing whenever I get my rematch with Leslie. So we'll see.
Yeah. It's always good when you're pushing your opponent, and that's what makes the match great and what makes the fans keep coming. So yeah. And I think Pete King told me that she was like 16. I'm like, how does that work? I thought you would still have to be in school still, but
right.
Apparently, and then she's a champion, so I guess it's good for her. So
not for long.
Not for long. Yeah. All right. Oh, you go, Jesse.
All right. So just listening to you and Jaron going back and forth with the conversation there, it seems to me that you're more of a teacher when you're in the ring. You're trying to teach the younger generation on how to do stuff. Do they ever tell you when you guys get done wrestling? Do they ever come up to you and say, "Hey, I appreciate you telling me what I did in there"?
Oh yeah, like I mean, there are definitely some that have their their heads up their asses and think that they're the God's gift to professional wrestling. There are definitely those, but there are a lot of them that they want your criticism. They want you to help them when they're in the ring. No one wants to go out into the ring and forget something and be made to look like a fool. Just and like all of a sudden be like, oh my God. No one wants that. We're there to entertain. We're there to protect each other. We're there to make each other look good. And, so a lot of them are really thankful, because like I call things randomly on the fly in the ring. I'll tell them to hit harder. I'll tell them, grab my head, like crank it, things like that. And then when they come in the back, I'll critique them. If they ask for my criticism, I won't critique unless they ask. And I've been in the business not 7 years yet, about 6.5. It'll be 7 in September. But like I still ask people who have been in the ring with me that I know have been in longer, like criticisms, trying to figure out, because I'm still trying to make it to the dance. I'm still trying to get that contract. So if there is anything that I can do to improve, I'm going to. And I just genuinely love this sport. And I want to give back to the sport by being the best I can be. I don't want to go out there and make a fool of myself or the sport, So it's like, this is what I want to do with my life. I'm not one of those ones I'm like, oh, this is what I just do on the weekends because I'm bored. Or because like, I can make money out of it because I'm a girl and I can wear a little bit of clothing and get money out of people. No, I do this because I genuinely love this. And I want to get out there. I want people to know my name. I want to be what their little kids look up to, or, I want to be booed out of the place, So it means more to me than just this little hobby. So if people come and ask me for advice, I'll give it to them. If, they don't, good luck, I'm nobody. I'm I mean, I've just been in a little while longer than some people, and if they, think that I'm somebody enough to ask advice for, that's awesome, and I will gladly give it. So
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's good that you have that teacher mentality, and you, like you said, you definitely want to make it. It's your passion, your main goal for in wrestling, and you've been doing the AEW matches, and it's I mean, that is one of the main places to go. So if you choose to go there, just keep working hard and doing your thing. So
yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
yeah. Talk about the nickname, the daughter of 1,000 maniacs. How did you come up with that?
Oh, hold on, I'm putting my charger into my phone. Okay. So I got it. So I was the Pretty Little Psycho for a long time, and then I found out that there was a girl in California that is also going by the name Pretty Little Psycho, and apparently she got super offended that I was going by that moniker. And she'd been in business about a year longer than me. And, like she started accusing me of stealing her gimmick and doing all this. And I'm like, I didn't even know you existed. And so out of like respect to her, I dropped the moniker. And I talked to Dustin and I talked to Cody and I asked like, what could I do now? Because literally my theme song was Pretty Little Psycho by Porcelain Black. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense anymore. Like, what do I do here? And then I was like, you know what? I am a huge Freddy Krueger fan. He is the son of 100 maniacs. So I was like, I could be the daughter of 1,000 maniacs. And Dustin liked it, Cody liked it, and we just kind of thought we'd see where it went, and it's going. I mean, I loved my little Pretty Little Psycho moniker, like just the name, it felt like it flowed better, but I'm still having, fun figuring out who the daughter of 1,000 maniacs is. So we'll roll with it for a while.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I just thought it was pretty unique. I'm like, the daughter of 1,000 maniacs. Pretty interesting. So
Yeah.
it's in general, it's just cool to hear nicknames. Like in the Midwest, we got a guy that calls himself the Hit Maker, Slammy Davis Jr., and then got a guy that calls himself the Problem, and then WWE/AEW got the guy that calls himself the Best in the World. So it's definitely cool to hear nicknames like that. So yeah. All right. Oh, you go, Jesse.
All right. So has Dustin Rhodes said anything about Cody going back to WWE?
He hasn't. I was over at his house a little bit a few weeks ago when I went and defended the title there, and my goal, this was before Cody kind of went. Cody debuted at WWE, and in my mind I was like, I kind of want to see if I can get it out of him. So I kind of kept dropping a little bit of hints, and then he would like joke around, like he was joking around if like his he was gonna have his own promotion who he'd book, and he goes, would I book Cody Rhodes? Like, fuck no, I wouldn't book that guy. And like his Cody's dog, I think his name's Pharaoh or something. He goes, I'd book Pharaoh. No, I wouldn't. Fuck that dog. Like, things like that.
Yes.
But no, there wasn't anything sad about him going back. I think he's just, I mean, it's his brother, so he's going to be supportive either way. He might not like the decision, but, the money was there, so.
Right.
Before it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I just thought it was very weird. I'm like, something he created with Tony Khan and then going back to the company that's, it's been controversial about certain things, but I mean, he did get a better pop. He's not being booed at like in AEW, so
yeah.
I really hated that. I'm like,
well, when you book yourself as the ultimate babyface and you're the booker,
yeah,
kind of will happen.
Yeah, that's true.
True.
Yeah, I was in Minneapolis, and Minneapolis or Minnesota was still booing him. I'm like, well, it's Cody Rhodes. But then he comes out to his glamorous entrance, and he's the owner of the company. So I guess it makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's doing good right now. He's had one match on Raw, and he's having a feud with Seth Rollins again. So
Well, he's actually on my TV right now, and he's having a match with Kevin Owens as we speak.
oh, is it? Yeah, man.
I looked up. Oh, look, there's Cody.
Oh man. Yeah, I've been behind on Raw. I got to start watching more. But yeah, I know. I think. Oh, actually, no. Earlier today, they were doing the Ezekiel lie detector test. Did you see that?
I hate that whole thing. So I just was like,
hmm Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't get it. Like, no one can prove that Ezekiel's Elias, and Kevin Owens is going to go insane because of that. So, yeah.
great.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I mean, speaking the WrestleMania stuff, we believe a couple days before WrestleMania, we were talking to someone. Seth Rollins actually trained Valentina Loca from
Oh, okay.
Iowa Wrestling. Yeah, and he was talking about like, or we were asking her, who do you think Seth Rollins' opponent is? She's like, I don't know. It could be Cody, it could be someone. So, and then it was Cody. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. All right. What do you hope to accomplish most in the sport of wrestling?
I think my biggest goal is just to make an impact on women's wrestling in general. Like, I had 3 goals when I got into the business, and that was to wrestle for WWE. I did that within my first few months. To wrestle out of the country, I did that. And so now it's like to make that impact on women's wrestling. If I don't make it to the dance, if I don't get that contract, maybe I can help someone who will. Maybe my role in this business isn't to be the star. Maybe it's to be the trainer behind the star, or maybe it's just, I don't know. But I just want to leave my footprint on this business before, my time is over. Maybe someday I have a child, and that child is going to be obviously going to be second generation. My husband's a wrestler. I'm a wrestler. Like, this child, my kid is kind of cursed to be in this business, whether I want to or not, like in some way or shape or form. Or, I help teach a kids class, and maybe one of my kids that we train is the next big thing, and maybe I can be that part of one of their journeys and their life. I'm starting to take 2 of my girls on the road with me, my 12-year-old, my 13-year-old, in my class, just to, go on the road with me and make connections this early in the business. Like, so that's just, I guess, making an impact would be my biggest goal. So.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it is a good goal. You want to leave your name in, I mean, any part of wrestling, women's wrestling. So, yeah. All right. Oh, there you go, Jesse.
All right. So, if you ever had a chance to wrestle one female, who would it be?
AJ Lee.
AJ.
There we go.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that definitely is a good name. So,
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, there hasn't been too much stuff. I mean, I think she's been, yeah, like you said, doing the WoW wrestling, but yeah, it would be cool to see her. I don't know if she'll become a wrestler or get back into wrestling, but it'd be cool to see her involved in wrestling in some ways. So
yeah. In some sort of way, have something with her, if it's not in the ring, like, I don't know, something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Who? Well, I think I talked about it a little bit, but who inspires your wrestling style?
Obviously AJ, and then Moxley. When I do like try to look back on things, like if I look more old school, I very much do try to be like not really the lucha part of Eddie Guerrero, but kind of like the ground, like in the mind, and the dastardly like deeds he, like just those character wise. And then Chris Benoit, obviously, just because of how freaking amazing of a wrestler he was. No matter what, he was like amazing in-ring worker. But definitely I've actually been, when I did my WWE tryout, I was compared to Mox. And I was like, well, what a coincidence, because my trainer trained Mox. And they're like, oh, that makes so much sense. And I'm like, they're like, your mannerisms, I'm like, not even meaning to. I'm doing stuff that, Moxley does. So I would say those four.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it is a good list, and yeah, I mean, it's cool that Moxley's doing the Black Combat Club. I think that's going in a great direction right now. And then AJ Lee, I mean, she's done a lot in wrestling, and Benoit did a lot in wrestling. So yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll let you go, Jesse.
All right. So there's a woman in Minnesota, and she's the daughter of Hall of Famer Paul Ellering, Rachel Ellering.
Okay.
I think you and her would put on a very good match if it was booked the right way.
Nice. Well, contact somebody, get it booked.
All right, if Brian from MAW is watching, book it.
Book it.
Yeah, MAW. Yeah, MAW, Midwest All-Star Wrestling, has been having a lot of people coming in and having lots of great matches with these Minnesota/Midwest guys. And I, like you said, Jesse, I think it would be a good mixture. I mean, they both got the height and the experience. So, yeah.
I'm down.
Yeah.
So book it, Brian, if you're watching.
On Brian Sager, where are you?
Yeah. Craig.
Talk about backstage of AEW.
It's so much more different than WWE. Like it is. It's still crazy, but it's like compared to WWE, it is so much more laid back. I mean, the matches, it's kind of funny because like the main people don't even know what matches they have yet. Like you don't even know if you're on the card yet. So you get there and then everybody just waits around until this whiteboard is drawn of like the matches like all throughout the night. And I feel so bad for like the referees and like all them because they're doing the matches, writing it down. Everybody's like trying to get around like to look at it to see if they have a match. But it's just so much more laid back, and it's like so much more friendly. Like the people backstage will, like the celebrities will actually talk to you. They don't like look down on you or anything like that. So that's really cool. At WWE, there are some that think, oh, hey, I'm me and you're down here. So, but AEW is just really, I guess that's the biggest difference. I can say it's more laid back. The production's amazing, obviously, everywhere. Catering's pretty dang good too, like always. But yeah, it's really cool, and it's an awesome experience to even be back there. So
yeah. I mean, I know wrestlers always say it, but just to get it firsthand and just hear how it actually is backstage, it definitely sounds like more friendly, lots less toxicity, and just overall better. So
yeah, they have their people, but
yeah.
Everywhere does.
On Instagram, Shannon Henshin says she is for sure making an impact for women's wrestling and the kids she trains. So
it's actually the mom of one of the kids I train.
Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah, we're connecting dots already. So yeah. I think what did she say before? Oh, she said the same thing before. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so I have a list of wrestlers, and just wanted to get your like a kind of a little speed run of the wrestlers and your original thoughts. So first, Sky Blue.
I'm actually really good friends with her, and I've wrestled her a few times, so I'm so happy for her. It's like she's amazing. She earned it. Yeah, love her. Yay, Sky.
Yeah. Haley Shadows.
My sister, like she was in my wedding, you know, like literally love her to death, would take a bullet for her.
Oh, wait, she actually is your sister or sister?
Sister, we have a faction called the Daughters of Darkness, and me, her, Maria James, and we just added Madison Payne, who is my little 12-year-old student, who's Shannon's daughter, is now in the Daughters of Darkness. But she's not my biological sister, but we say we're all sisters. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure. I'm like, is it a wrestling thing? Maybe.
Yeah, wrestling.
Yeah. Amazing Maria.
That was the other sister.
Oh, that is. Oh.
Jane, literally, like, she's my sister in the game, but I also call her Mama because she's like been like my wrestling mom for like ever. She was one of the ones that my first hardcore match. When I went through the car windshield, she like glued me up, like literally glued me together, like the stitch glue. So and cleaned me up. So yeah.
That's wow. Hollywood Haley J.
Niece.
Hitting all the family right here.
Freaking great gimmick, hysterical. Bright future in this business, and yeah, she's beautiful, and them eyelashes, like I give them to her because I could never wear long ass eyelashes like she does.
Yeah, it definitely looks interesting. So. Melanie Cruz.
I've worked her once, so I mean, I don't really know her personally. It was a good match, and it was a good learning experience. So, yeah, I'd do it again too. So,
yeah. Moxie Molly.
Oh God, that's one from a while ago. She was my first WWE tryout. Very charismatic. So very, very charismatic. Her character was always out there, like out of this world, literally out there. So very creative. And now she's a mommy and has a little baby. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And then, yeah, I guess get more into the AEW stars here, but Thunder Rosa.
Like one of my heroes, you know, literally a hero. And it was a honor and dream come true to get to wrestle her on AEW. And she's so deserving of the title that she has right now. So.
Yeah. The doctor, Dr. Britt Baker.
I choose not to disclose.
Uh-oh. Up there now. Uh-oh. Jade Cargill.
Surprisingly a sweetheart. You know, backstage, like she plays this like bad bitch on TV, but you know, she's also like the sweetest thing ever. Like literally asked to pray with me before the match, and then after the match, like days later, she found me on Instagram and wrote me a message thanking me for the match, and literally like she was just really happy with what we had, and so yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's nice. It's good that bigger talents recognizing. I mean, soon to be bigger talent, and yeah. I wasn't sure what kind of person she was. I mean, she is still doing wrestling her first year in AEW, and yeah, just cool to hear that she is that nice of a person. So
yeah, she does.
And because I mean, her character is not. So
yeah.
yeah. Yeah. And is there any other AEW females or male talents that you've talked with? That's the only ones I really found.
Abaddon.
Who was it?
I'm friends with Abaddon,
Abaddon. Oh, what's Abaddon again?
the zombie.
Oh, yeah, I think I remember that. Okay.
No,
Yeah.
I love her. She's great. I've got to work her twice, so it's been amazing. Like, she's
Mm-hmm.
awesome. I wish there was more of her on TV.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Okay. All right. Oh, you go, Jesse.
All right, we're going to do a word association from people from Ohio. The very first one, Brian Pillman Jr.
Choose not to disclose.
All right, how about John Moxley?
Love.
All right, and another guy who is from Ohio, The Miz.
One of the best heels ever and best promos ever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Definitely, I agree with that. And
I don't
one
think he
more.
Oh.
And
I
I
don't.
don't know if this is actually an Ohio guy or not. Dolph Ziggler.
Underrated, you know, like he's a really good freaking worker, a really good talent and character. I just don't think they've used him right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That-
yeah.
That's
I mean,
true.
they're using him a little better. I mean, he is NXT or was NXT champion, but I think he still could be better in doing something. So, yeah. Who do you have the best friendship with in wrestling?
So there's a girl up in Springfield, Illinois named Harley. She's actually my best friend. She was the maid of honor at my wedding. Well, she got COVID, so unfortunately she could not be. So my friend Heather Owens stood up for me in my maid of honor spot, who I'm also stupid close with Heather Owens. But Harley is by far my best friend. We have matching tattoos. The date of our first match, everything. So yeah, me and her, we call each other wrestling soulmates. Like we're just, you have that connection with somebody in wrestling, and it's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it is cool to have someone close, especially within wrestling, because he can either be lonely or super fun. So it is cool to have someone like that. So
Yeah.
Zach Simpson, aka Tank Bryson, says Abaddon is awesome. Come on, yeah. I couldn't realize the name for a second. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember her. So yeah. Okay. All right. Oh, you go, Jesse.
All right, one more question, then we'll let you go. We took up enough of your time, but we do appreciate you coming on tonight. We would definitely like to have you back on.
Oh yeah,
again.
definitely.
Yeah. So what are your feelings on OVW head trainer Al Snow?
Honestly, I don't know him that well. I've only ever really come in contact with him high and by. When I got married, he wrote congratulations on my Facebook status. Even though I work for OVW, like I really only talk to my opponents, though they're females in there, and the trainer, my agent, that's the word. That agent's my match. Really, those are the only people I get to talk to while I'm there. And since I live 2 hours from there, and I have to be up early in the mornings because I'm also a nurse. So I literally drive straight from work, go, and then literally from the ring, go to my car and go home so I can go to bed. So it's a 4-hour round trip for me. So I haven't really ever gotten any like conversation or really got to talk with Al. So, maybe one day I'll get to sit down, pick his brain, and, make him see who I am. But
Yeah. I mean, that definitely would be cool because Al Snow is probably one of the. I mean, I would say Al Snow is a little underrated too, but yeah, great dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess just one more thing. Are you going to be on Dynamite this or AEW coming up within the week? Possibly. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, yeah. All right.
Saying yes, I'm not saying no.
Okay. Sounds good. I guess fans, you'll have to find out. So, yeah. But yeah, it was awesome having you on. Someone I mean, that's had experience with AEW and WWE, and I mean, someone from a different territory, Ohio. So it's really cool to hear stories and experiences from that. So, yeah. All right. I'll let you close out, Jesse.
All right. Once again, thank you very much for appearing on the show. And like I said, we'd like to have you back on again.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Okay. All right. You have a nice night, Shawna.
You guys
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. Live is ending.